Hey, what up everybody? So we are back at it again. Yeah, I did some stuff, so we got some sound deadening up there already, and we're gonna keep at it for the sound deadening part. I did seal these windows in from the inside. I'll go through the outside and put some stuff up. The back one I won't do, but like the side ones like that, yeah, you can't see because it glares in there, but like the side ones like this, I did it from the inside, and then I put a bunch of, just glob some crap up on there to make it to where that doesn't like vibrate open and stuff, even though the lock itself actually locked pretty hard. So no, none of that is underneath the seal before the glass. But what I will do is I will come out here and I will go along here with like a black type of construction adhesive or silicone, and I will just put that on there and smear that in there, and then clean up any edges, because I'll tape up along the red as best I can with some like either 1/2 inch or 1 inch tape, and then I'll just go through and seal all that in and make sure that's good to go. I added another sticker, so hopefully you guys can see that. That's a pretty good one, at least I think so anyways. So I did drill out that oval shaped drain hole or drain plug. Took the plug out and then just drilled out the hole for it, and it fit perfectly for that. So this is now set up for the 8 gauge to come through, so I'll have 2 runs of 8 gauge through there. And this is actually a 0 grommet, because 2 runs of 8 gauge combined together create a 5/0. So a 4/0 wouldn't cover it. I mean, maybe you could jam them in there, because I did kind of squeeze some through one of the 4/0 ones we got, but the 0 gauge worked better. So I think it's 0/1/0. But then, like, yeah, I put that one in the floor up front here, because I can't go in the side because I got too much stuff that's going to run through that side. And there's not as much clearance over here as there was over there for that 4/0 to go through. And then back there along the back edge, there is a underneath, there's a brace, a metal brace that goes across the whole car. So you can't just drill through there and expect to get through it. Going through the wall here, you could get through it, and then you'd have to put a regular grommet, because you couldn't use one of the turn-on ones, because how are you supposed to get your fingers in there to hold that nut? You can't. You'd have to take the bed off and then put them both on, either on the bed and on that, and then shove the wires through and then tighten them down. But I'm not going to go through all that problem. I'll text flex up the 2 runs of 8 gauge. I will literally text flex them together and then run them along the side here, and I will use those black wire loom connectors and put them along here. And then they'll just kind of, when they hit down here, it'll just kind of make a jump across, and then that's it. Or it'll come down and then across and then up. However I want to do it to make it seem a little more seamless. I cannot screw to right here though, because if I screw to right here, there's wires underneath here. All the wires run across this channel for the remote wires, the sub RCAs, the 4-channel RCAs, everything runs across here. So I cannot put anything, I can't drill in up here. That's why I moved it down to this pedestal that's down here. And I drilled right through that. It's perfectly fine, because the seat mounts right here and up here for that bench seat. And so this is where people's feet would sit, and obviously up here too would be where like people's feet would sit when they had the bench seat in the back here. So this isn't going to be in the way to get hit by anything. It'll still make it look clean, and hopefully we can go from there. I did get the amp racks in and stuff, like I mentioned in the other one. Did do the grounds, or that ground anyways. I did run the grounds for the amps and stuff too, so that's bolted in there, it's cleaned off. So it's bare metal, and then there's a washer down there to help stack up for those lugs. It's their 4/0 lugs, and it's got 2 runs of 8 gauge in each 4/0 lug, and then it's bolted down. 2 go this way to ground to these 2 amps, 2 go that way to ground to those 2 amps that'll be over there. Yeah, it's getting there. So today what we're going to do is a lot of sound deadening. We have a crap ton of sound deadening. I have 2 layers on the roof. I started on the 3rd layer. I need to at least get that 3rd layer down just to see how it sounds, and probably run 1 more after that. So we will get to it, and I'll set you guys up on time lapse and stuff. But before I do that, check out my sweater. I'm a little shifter homie. So yeah, that'll work. Something like that. I was gonna do the Crown Royal bags thing, but I couldn't get the Crown Royal bags to spread out far enough and fit on there correctly. I'd have to take a couple of them apart and sew them together to create 1 bag, at least towards the bottom part. So I just don't want to have to do that. I don't have a sewing machine to do so either. And to hand sew it would just take forever, so I just don't really want to do that. Just put the little shifter hoodie on there and call it good. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get right to it then. What up, everybody? We're back. So we did some stuff. We got some stuff done, right? My arm is tired because I can't really use my left arm. Y'all know why. I did a little bit here and there just because my right arm was just getting wore out, too tired. I got 3 layers on. I still have a vibration through the middle because that middle brace that was inside there, it had foam from the factory on each side of it, but I never did try to fill it with anything. So right in the middle, there is a vibration sound. I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not. I will hit the roof and show you guys, but hopefully it can pick it up and you guys can like hear what's going on with it. So I'm gonna hop up here, and then this is the front, this is the back, here's the middle. So I don't know It's vibrating shit on my dash too. I know that. So set you guys inside here, put you up on the dash. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna vibrate stuff on the dash, but you can see what I'm talking about here. I don't know if it's because of the way that cross member is, that when I'm hitting it, it's more solid here, less solid here because of flex, and it's more solid here, so it's sending the vibrations forward, and it's like vibrating stuff like my fenders. When I'm doing that, the windshield even makes noise, but I'm pretty sure there's stuff up on the dash that's making noise too. So I really don't know where that sound's coming from or if it's because of that brace. But I have 3 layers on there now, with it being so tiring to layer them on. I don't know if I'm gonna go for the next one and go for 4, but maybe. So I have 1 layer of 80 mil on there and 2 layers of 50 mil. So I'm not gonna do that on the top of my head right now. So I will just get the old phone and go into here. You guys probably already did the math on it. 1 layer of 80 mil plus 50 plus 50, so 180 mils on the roof. That's not too bad. I think the van has 360 mils, I think, on the roof. 320 mils. Because that has 4 layers of 80. Just in the front side. On the sides of the van, it has 2 layers of 80. The roof has 2 layers of 80, and then it has 2 layers of 1/2 inch. That in the front cab section is where the 4 layers are. I don't necessarily know if I need to go 4 layers or not, but it's a possibility. If I feel froggy, I have enough of it to go around, because I still have a lot of sound deadening left over from doing the roof. And I'm gonna need all this anyways, because I still have to do the sides and the back, and then I have to do the doors, like the internals of the door. So I'm gonna have to wash the doors, and I'm gonna have to do those. But I need to fix the door first, because I have a hole in my door. So I need to do some welding in there and actually get a steel plate for in there. Don't try the license plate thing, because it ain't gonna work. But yeah, I gotta fix that door. The other door I just need to clean up and then slap sound deadening in it. I'm probably gonna cut out this bracing that's in here to give me better access. So I'll probably chop it here, and then I'll chop it here, and then right here, and then I'll just trim the rest of that shit off with a grinder or the plasma. One of the two. Either way, it's gotta go. And I'll have to take my stuff and move it so it's out of the way, especially if I use the plasma. If I use a grinder, it's not such a bad thing. I just have to worry about down here, because I have to stick to this. But if I pop this out, then I can move the cord. Otherwise, I can't move that cord, because it's zip tied and popped into that hole there. But I'm going to stay above that line anyways, so I have something for the door card to bite into, the new made door card that I'm going to make, the made door card. So yeah, just basically panel wood. Probably make it out of, well, it depends on how sturdy 1/4 inch is, if there'd be a lot of flex to it or not. But if there's not going to be a lot of flex to it, then I'll probably just make it out of 1/4 inch. Otherwise, I'll make it out of 1/2 inch. I have to also worry about clearance with the seat and everything for the 10, because the 10 is kind of deep. But with all that cleared out, then it gives me more room. So I have to basically cut that skeleton structure out. We'll see how that goes and how floppy the internals of the door get for the roller section of the window. But if I have to, I can weld in another piece of bracing just to kind of help support it, but I'm not too worried about it. I think cutting all that out, it'll still be pretty strong. So we'll have to see how it goes. I got that done. Don't know what else I'm going to do today or within this video. So y'all can stick around and find out. Hey, what up everybody? So we're back. Stupid heater thing's going again. So anyways, we got some stuff to do. I did get a few more things in. So right now I have some bed liner, Herculiner bed liner, picked it up from Menards. 75 bucks for 3 cans, so not bad. Did get some liquid nails, Fuse It all surface. So this stuff here kind of is like, it's kind of like LoonyMaxx. It's gray when it comes out, but instead of it being like, it rocks up like super hard like LoonyMaxx, this stuff stays a little bit flexible. So LoonyMaxx would have been good, but I want this stuff to stay a little bit flexible because it is going on the seams. So I'm going to use this as like a seam sealer. Let it harden up, and then I'm going to go through and do the bed as far as like lining it. Right now, I need to vacuum this because I did kind of scrape up some of the stuff here. So I scraped off some of it and got rid of some of the bigger chunks of rust stuff. So I will vacuum that up, and then I will go through and seam seal everything, and we will get to that. I also have some turbo cans of rusty metal primer. So big ass turbo cans of rusty metal primer. Should shoot out fairly quick. These things, they'll unload the whole can within, you know, probably a minute. You could unload this whole can. So you got to be kind of careful when you're spraying it, but it will cover a wide pattern. So that's kind of what we want. I did get some frog paint. I taped up the top already. I need to tape up that corner and throw a blanket or something across the top for that window. Once I get all this said and done, then I will be cutting into this. I'll cut into here. I probably won't do anything with that until after I figure out the size of the hole that I need. So I probably won't like bed liner this back section, or if I do, I'll just kind of guess, and I'll just do like, I'm gonna paint this and paint that and leave like the whole center part open and just do part of the bottom. And I might do like the top rail, just for rolling it on, and then just leave that whole center section to where I'm just gonna guesstimate the size of it. At this point, I didn't, my cousin and my friend already did the math on it. They know the size that I need, but it's like they're holding off from telling me. They're playing the game where they're just not going to tell me. They're going to be like, nah, we don't know what it is. Or, yeah, we got it figured out. We'll do it later. So just one of those stupid deals. There is these holes here, and I would love to be able to put something here and weld over it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find anything that I can put over that and weld over it. Because that's for the post hole where, well, I don't really need that where I'm going. And if I put the tonneau cover on here and it happens to leak in there a little bit, then it can get water in there possibly and get into my box. I don't really need that. I don't want that. The other day I did get that put in, so that's fine. And then where this video is picking up from, kind of attached to the last stuff that I recorded, I had to take off. There was like a blizzard thing that popped up. So my phone went off and told me about it. It says like national weather alert and blah, blah, blah. And I could hear the wind picking up outside, but I didn't really worry about it too much until that alarm went off on my phone. And then I was like, oh crap, maybe I should probably pay attention to that. So it wasn't too bad driving back because it didn't start snowing yet, but then we did have a pretty good snowstorm the next day. I think it started really late into that night or following into the early morning. I think it was like 4 or 5 in the morning when it actually started to snow, but the wind was whipping pretty good even from the time that I left, which was probably 9 o'clock at night or something like that. About 30-mile-an-hour winds, and then it slowly picked up and got higher, and I think it got up to like 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds as it was snowing. So we did have a little bit of a snowstorm come through that passed through, and now they're getting it towards like the middle of the northern region on the East Coast area, so they can have that now, keep it. But yeah, so we're out here, we're getting this done. I'll set you guys up on time lapse. We'll get to some of this stuff and see where we end up. What up, everybody? So we're back, and I did spray it with the rusty metal primer. I went through one full turbo can and then like just part of another one, because I kind of ended down there, and then I had to kind of finish up that back section in the tailgate. You can see where I kind of missed on some of it. I didn't scuff up the paint or anything, so like I was walking around on it, it didn't have time to really dry yet when I started doing the seam sealer stuff, so there's like little stuff that's kind of kicked up, but I didn't really care about the center because this shit's getting bed linered anyways. I just cared about the shit that's like, if it's flaking up, then there's rust there that's gonna get sprayed and soaked in. Same with like the wheel wells and stuff like that, just certain areas that I was mainly concerned about. Like the whole middle was completely fine. There was like obviously scuffs and stuff in the metal from them sliding shit in here before they put a bed liner in it, but that's fine. It's no big deal because it wasn't even rusted. It was just still metal with just no paint on it. So there was normal seam sealer up in there like that, like that's from the factory and stuff, so I didn't go over any of that, I just left it. And then like this stuff here, I just went around and went over everything. I put some screws in there, like 4 self-tapper panhead screws, and that's got ABS plastic to cover up them holes now. Same here. And all I did was just smear a bunch of that liquid nails stuff on there. So it is Liquid Nails Fuse It all surface, and yeah, that stuff sticks very well. It dries fast too, but it's very thick. So I went around and I hit everything that I thought needed to be hit, and I went over a few spots. So like right there, I went over, I made a cutout, bent it with hot air, and it's just ABS plastic, and it's screwed in with I don't know, I think like 5 or 6 of those panhead self-tappers. Each one of these little ones has 4, and that has 4, and that has like 6. This one down in the corner, this one has 4. So there's 4 in that, and then I just kind of went around it and smeared a bunch of stuff around it. Yeah, and since the panhead self-tappers are now underneath a bunch of that and kind of locked in there, in theory, they shouldn't rust. Maybe from the other side they might, but not from this side. So it'll last hopefully a little bit longer. And then I just kind of shot some up on the seam there because that wasn't sealed, and then went through and went down there, went along everything. There was pinholes in here through the metal. So I just covered it up with a bunch of that, just kind of smeared it over the holes. Same there, same there. There was one spot up there, so I just did the same thing. Any spot that there was like a hole or really bad like rust spots, I just kind of coated it with that stuff. So after I sprayed it with the rusty metal primer stuff, I just kind of went through, and if I found spots that are like that, I just kind of smeared stuff on it and just said that's good enough. I'm not expecting it to last forever, but hey, how long does it take for plastic to degrade? Probably longer than the metal on the truck, right? So it should be pretty good. Also, with this truck, who knows how long I'll have it, you know? And at that point, I'll figure out and address the other stuff later on. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll never care. Maybe in like a year, I'll sell it, or 5 years, or whatever. I build stuff and I get rid of it. Speaking of getting rid of it, my van is for sale. So if you guys want to buy my van, I have it listed up on Marketplace right now for $5,000. I won't go any lower than that, so don't ask. $5 grand, and it comes with everything in it. It'll come with the wall. I'll leave in the bass knob, the Game Boy bass knob. I will leave the mids and highs in there and the 2 amps to run the mids and highs. I will be taking out the crossfire though, and it will come with a JP40 LiPo 4 battery. So JP HP40. So if you don't know what that is, you can Google it and look it up. It's a $1,200 battery. So it can support, I believe, up to 14,000 watts with that LiPo 4 JY HP40. If you're going to run a big ass amp in there, then you're going to need to probably get something else to help support it, like an itty bitty, because that's also a LiPo 4. So you could take an itty bitty and have that come in off the main run in, and then go from the itty bitty to the LiPo to the JY HP40, and then come off of there and go directly to whatever amp you want to run. It is set up for a standalone alternator. The only thing is you would have to move the fill reservoir for the power steering. So you just have to unbolt it from where it's at and move it in order to build the platform that's right on top there. Because there's a metal platform that kind of is right in line with the belt drive. And so if you built off from that platform, easily install an alternator, aftermarket alternator for a 3500, because that's what I was gonna do, was the Dodge 3500 high output alternator, because that's a big case alternator. Is gonna be a 400 amp. And then it has 3 runs of power right there. So 2 runs of 1-aught and 1 run of 2-aught. And then you can just plug and play right off the post from that, the aftermarket alt from the 3500. And then that's just sending power directly to the back. Then it makes it into a standalone system, and the system that's in the back that's feeding the main amp, that's everything is on its own. So nothing is cannibalizing off of the power for the main amp. The 2 other amps actually run off the front battery. That's how it's set up. So it's a stock battery up front, stock alternator, still running the PCM, and I have 2 amps that are running off of it. They're Rockville. One's the 45, and the other one is the 25, because it's a 2-channel. And the 2-channel runs the 10s, and then there is a cock box in the back, or an RCA splitter box in the back, that's set up to split the front channel so that I can pull off the front channel to be able to feed to the 2-channel to feed the 10s. Everything is set up there. It comes with everything except for the deck. I will be taking, like I said before, I will be taking out the crossfire, but it still needs 1 more layer of 1/2 inch through the slider door to be able to help stabilize that back wall for the sealed section. Once that's installed, then you can seal up the seams on that, and then it's 100% done. It's braced from the inside as well, already for the box, and for the in between the subs is already supported. The only thing that you would probably need to do maybe is, once you put the subs in there, is probably put some braces in between. I was just gonna use like those slide-in connector posts and drop some 2x4s in there. So I already have cut down 2x4s, but not for that. They were for the other side, the sealed side, when it was super big. Yeah, it was like, I don't remember what it was, 40 cubes or something like that. It was ridiculous. Because I did just kind of split the box, and I said, screw it. It'll be fine. And like the port side was like 33. It was like, yeah, like 33 cubes on the port side, like 43 or 44 cubes on the sealed side at one point. But now I brought the sealed side in, I cut that wall out on the slider door, and then I moved that whole wall in. So it's 9 inches deep, which gives you a total air dimension on the sealed side of 13.3 cubes, which is about I think it's like 1.5 cubes or 1.3 cubes per sub. It's like perfect. And so if you guys do want it, you can hit me up. either on Facebook, if you can find my Facebook, or you can hit me up through Gmail, and it'd be LoonyMaxx, just like it is on my YouTube, just LoonyMaxx at Gmail. Yeah, $5,000, you can have it. It'll be yours. So that's one thing that I want to get out there so everybody kind of knows about it. Not just the people that are in my area or people that are on my stereo team. If you guys want a chance of purchasing that, and it's pretty much pre-done, ready to go. Yeah, there's just minor stuff that you'd have to do to it to be able to have it up and going. Like, you'd have to obviously get a different amp for in the back, because I will leave the SMD sub wire connector inside there. Like, you know, it's be pointless. It's built into the box. You would destroy the box by taking that out. So everything that's in there is already in there. It's pre-wired. All the subs are pre-wired. Yeah, so the subs that are closest to the back of the wall are the furthest one over on that section for the wiring. Every one of them is labeled. It is set up with switches, so there is no remote wire. The remote wires that go to the amps are actually on switches, and in the back, one terminal will have to be connected because all those remote wires go into one, I believe, 4-aught lug. You just have to attach that to either the itty bitty or the HP40, and that'll be sending signal up to the center console that I built. And it has the switch panel built into it. You flick those switches and everything's up and running. The first switch turns on the voltmeter and the bass knob, as far as like the voltmeter that's on the bass knob, because there's just a single blue switch there that's like a first switch. Literally only turns on the bass knob, and it turns on the other voltmeter that's built into that switch panel. If you turn on this first actual toggle switch, the silver toggle switch, that is going to be your fronts. So it's going to be the 10s, 6.5s, the 5 1/4s in the dash, and the tweeters. If you turn on the second one, that's the rear. So that's going to be the 6x9s and the super tweeters that are inside the rear hatch. If you turn on the third one, that's going to send signal to whatever amp you have hooked up for your sub amps, and then we'll turn on the sub amps. I did it that way so then you can cycle everything on slowly. So you can turn on your 4-channel, you can turn on the 2-channel, and then you can turn on, you know, whatever. So actually, I think the way that it's wired in right now, yeah, the way that's wired in, as soon as you kick on the first one, it kicks on everything. So it kicks on your fronts. It doesn't kick on the 10s. The second one kicks on the 10s, so you can shut those off or turn those on individually. So the second switch is actually just for the 10s, for the 2-channel. But when you kick on the 4-channel, it kicks on the rears and the fronts. Then if you kick on the third switch, it kicks on your sub. So anyways, that's how that is. This has got to dry overnight. I'll come back in tomorrow, check it, see how it is, and then, like I said before, I'm probably not going to do too much up here. I might come in and go to like maybe this section, and then go over, measure it off, do about the same, and then whatever is in the middle is just stay in the middle, because I will do this stuff. I just won't do anything in the middle because it'll make it easier to cut. So if I was to roll bed line around that, it's not going to cut very easily. And then you got to try to get it with the grinder and then hit it with a cutoff wheel instead of a plasma torch. But yeah, I figured if I just leave the middle alone, roll everything else on, it'll be fine. Yeah, I just have to remember to untape that before the stuff starts to set, like for the bed liner. That way then it doesn't leave like tape behind, and that's stuck inside the bed liner and stuck to that grommet. But yeah, so the grommet loops down here, it'll loop back up and then come across. So it'll come through right there, for the speaker wire for the sub. That's how it's going to go. I asked the amp guy if he could actually flip my internals, because right now the way that amp would sit, it says Berman's up here and then your power is down there. So your power and all your stuff is that way. And then your RCAs and your speaker wires and stuff are over here. I would like to have that flipped. So then I got power and ground stuff over here, because that'll come right off the battery here and then go up. So it'll be short runs. And then my speaker wires and RCAs would be over there, because the RCAs come in over there anyways. But then the wire would just come out, go down, and then I can make it go along the carpet really nicely and then loop in. But the way it is now, if I put that in there, I'd have speaker wires coming out here, and then they'd come down, and then they go, you know, along here, and I'd have to use like wire looms to hold it in place after I text flex it. I didn't get text flex, by the way, for that. And then it'll come across and then go down, and then follow underneath, and then pop up. But I did get text flex to do that, and I got 25 feet of it because I didn't know if, you know, he's going to be able to flip it or not. He's going to check, and if he is able to flip the internals and flip the end caps off that big ass heat sink, it's going to be night and day, because then I'm going to have power in on this side, which is going to be amazing, instead of having to frickin' power in over there and then loop everything this way to be able to do shit, and then have to come all the way across to go back here to the grounds and stuff, when I could just come off here and go grounds. You know what I mean? It's so much easier if that is flipped. If I flip the amp normally, then the Bermans will be upside down, which I might just, if that's the case and he can't flip it internally, I might just grind off that Berman's logo and the stupid 16K bullshit that's on there. Just, you know, sand it down with like some like 200 grit, just to not get the heat sink all like marred up or scarred up, and then hit it with like black and just black that fucker out, because nobody cares anyways. And then they'll be like, hey, what amp is that? I'll just tell them what amp it is, but it's not going to be even making the same power. So, you know, I don't even know what it's really going to make, but I don't think it's going to be making 16K, I'll tell you that, because the way that it's going to be having in the single channel. And then GoPro died, go figure, right? So I figured that I would just hurry up, try to cut this a little short, but I wanted to finish up there because it said I was in the process of saying that it's not going to make the 15K anymore, right? Because before it was able to make 16K due to the fact that the rail voltage was at 195 volts. Right now, when he mods this thing, it's going to end up at 185 volts. So we're going to lose some rail voltage there, which is probably going to put it into like 15.5, maybe 15. So you're still looking at like 15,000 watts, or, you know, 15,500 watts, something like that. So it'll still be good. It's just not going to be considered a 16K amp. So you can't be like, it's a 16K. No, but if they ask what amp it is, I'll tell them, you know, hey, it's the Berman 16K. Even though that it's, you're going to have to go modify it, because if you just go buy that same exact amp, you're going to have issues with it. It's going to end up having the same internal fan issue. It's just that way, because that MCU chip, it literally has a problem with it inside of there, to where it sends power to ground. So if you buy one, just be prepared to send it off. So buy it for, you know, $364 for the thing. That's not a problem. Then turn around and send it off, get it fixed, get it modded, have it checked over, make sure that it's healthy, because mine was not healthy. So a lot of these people are saying that they get them and they're dead on arrival, right? So when you plug it in, it sits there and it flashes, and it'll flash across like the blue light special, okay? So red light always on, yellow light always on, blue light flashing, right? And it has nothing to do with any type of mod system that you would do or anything like that. It just comes like that from the get-go. That's because there's a problem with the auxiliary power supply section. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to have issues and you're going to think it's a bad amp and a dead amp. So you're going to send it off to P4L and have Nathan go over it. So that's a thing. I mean, if you want your amp to work and you want to buy a cheap amp and not spend a shit ton of money on an amp, that's your route. You go buy that amp and then you have him fix it. Or you go buy the 18K, which is sandbagging itself anyway straight from the get-go, because the voltage on that thing for the power output is like, I think the rail voltage was like 155 is what one guy said. Like 155. I want to make sure you guys are still working there. Yeah. So, yeah. So like you have 155 rail voltage. You're not making 18K with that. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So they have another one out, the Berman's 18K. But it doesn't have internal fans on it. That's a saved thing. Cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't meet the rail voltage requirements to make that. So you're sandbagged at 15K. That's it. So I don't know. They make these amps, they slap them together. I don't think they bench test them. I don't think they test shit on them. They just slap it together, put a sticker on it and say, hey, buy this. Now the 18K is more. It's almost pushing that $400 range. So then you're going to buy that and send it up and have him fix it. Now you're up into like the $600 range. So can you find a decent amp that would make 18K or 17K, you know, for $600? I don't know. Look around, find something, you let me know. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could easily pick up the 18K, have him increase the rail voltage, you know, and go through the amp, make sure that it has a good health check. And then you get back an amp that would actually potentially do 17K or 16K, depending on how high he wants to, you know, raise the gate voltage to be able to actually increase the rail voltage. It's he actually is going to do stuff safely. What up, everybody? Check this out now. There's a hole in there. So that is dead even. And potentially it might be slightly big for the purpose of what we're doing. But I used like an online calculator thing and kind of did what it said to do. But my cousin says it might be a little bit big, but we'll just wing it. I wanted it kind of a little larger anyways, because I'm bolting the box itself down to the bed. So the bed will move, the cab will move separately or independently like they do in trucks. And this way then it'll actually allow the box to kind of float inside there for the port. It's telling me, according to my dimensions, that the port itself should be about 12 inches into the cab, 12.97 to be exact, which according to its mathematics online would give me a 1.866 cubic foot port. I don't know if that's big or not. Everybody's like, that's a big ass port. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Now I'm going to roll some deadener on here. I got this all seamed up and stuff like that. I'll put you guys up on time lapse. And I would have did it for the cutting out stuff, but I didn't want my camera near that shooting sparks everywhere because I didn't use the plasma. I ended up just using a cutoff wheel and just kind of measured it off where I needed to be. So it's actually 27.625 wide, which would be 27 5/8 wide. And it's 9 inches tall. It's a big port. That's a big hole. I wouldn't call it a port. It's a big hole. I did kind of grind down the edges to make it so that it wasn't sharp or anything like that, so it won't cut through the rubber boot. I do have to order that rubber boot. So yeah, I'm gonna have to order it by the foot. Yeah, so I got more math to do. But for right now, I'm gonna put you guys up on time lapse. We're gonna roll this bed. All right, everybody. It's smelly. It sucks. It smells horrible, and I don't want to get high. anyways, as you guys seen, I got that on. This is the first layer. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it ain't supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be durable. And it's supposed to help cover up the seams that I redid with that. We'll call it seam sealer, but it's really not seam sealer. It's, I don't remember. Liquid Nails Fuse It. That's what it is. Liquid Nails Fuse It. And yeah, I wanted it to be solid and last and stay. I fixed all the other parts with plastic and self-tappers, and then went over it with the Fuse It. And you can't really tell where I did that at. So this is just the first layer. I went through 2 cans. I only have 1 can left. I could probably get a second coat out of just the 1 can, but I'll probably pick up another one tomorrow. I actually want to see what it would be like to use that spray-on stuff from the same company, and just hit it with the spray-on once and just go over it with that real quick. Let that tack up, and then if I need more grip, I think then I'll just do that. Because right now I really just need to darken it. I don't really need any more grip in there. I don't need any more like texture. So I think if I just spray it, then that way I can get into other areas and stuff like that too. A little bit easier. But anyways, it smells in here. Like god awful smells in here. I hate that. I hate the smell of it. Like I like the end result. Don't get me wrong. I love the end result. I just don't like the smell of that. Now, I'm gonna have to set you guys up for a second. I gotta pull battery off of the charger. Make sure that that is not actually sitting on the charger, because sometimes some chargers, you unplug it or shut the power off. Well, let's just say you just shut the power off. It's still drawing back into the charger. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of stupid. But anyways, I want to get the hell out of here. Oh, and if you guys haven't seen my friend's car's back, we got a lot of stuff going on with that thing, as you can tell. So anyways, I'll be back at it tomorrow again. I gotta let this thing set up, and then I'll, I guess, spray it tomorrow, and hopefully that helps. At least darken it up. I got enough texture on there, like I said. So if I need to add more texture, I always have that other can. But as for right now, I'm out of here. Woo! She's smelly. Anyways, we're back. We're back at it. I went and picked up some more truck bed liner to kind of spray with inside of here in the little stuff. I got enough texture on there, I believe. I just need some fill in just to kind of get more of it covered as far as like the darkness goes. I do have another can of the actual like roll-on stuff, but I'm gonna try to do the spray stuff and see how well this works for darkening it up. Because I don't really need any more grip to it, I just need to darken it. It is somewhat still drying. I didn't have it hot enough inside the shop for the temperature wise. The fan's only set to like 67 degrees, and I think this has to have like a cure thing of like around like 70 degrees or 80 degrees, so it's a little sticky. So it ain't fully like cured up. So I'm not gonna be able to walk in there, so I'm just gonna be able to spray it, and then hopefully it works out. I'm gonna have to find something to put inside the interior of that, so if I'm spraying towards that area, whatever goes inside isn't gonna get on the carpet or on my SMD ground block. So I have to put something in there, but we'll get to this. We'll get it sprayed up and stuff like that. So yeah, other than that, I think it worked out pretty good. I think it turned out okay for a do-it-yourself in-house job. Should last for 50 years. I don't know. Yeah. Just throwing spitballing numbers. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna get to it. Alright everybody, welcome back. Check it out. I gotta pull this thing off because you probably can't hear me anyways. You probably couldn't hear me anyways. But it smells even worse in here than when I first walked in. It smells a little bit better than it did last night, surprisingly. Right now it just smells like paint from the aerosol, but that roll-on stuff is pretty potent. That smelled pretty horrible last night when I was leaving. It still smelled like that today, almost like, I don't even know. It had to be close to 24 hours since I did it. I mean, so I finished rolling it at about midnight last night, closer to 1, because I quit. And then and I got the 1 coat on there, which gave me pretty much full coverage, except for you could still see some of the rusty metal primer stuff through there, because since I did primer the bed before doing the bed liner, because I guess you're supposed to primer it before you bed line. So I used rusty metal primer and then rolled that bed liner on. So now you can't see any of the rusty metal primer through it because it coated everything. So this is done according to me. I'm not gonna mess with it any more than this. This is done. So it still has to dry, and I did kind of get some overspray up here and stuff like that. So I'll have to take and wipe that down. Hopefully it comes off. Otherwise I'll just take some lacquer thinner or paint thinner and rub it across there. I don't really care if it screws up the paint or not up here, because I can go back through and I have touch-up paint stuff that's for that. Which surprisingly, it's close enough. It's Gloss Sunrise Red from Rust-Oleum. I think that's a pretty close match. What do y'all think? Yeah, I think so. I think it'll do. Just to kind of top up the bed rails and stuff. And yeah, I'm not too concerned on it. Like I said, I'll get the tops of the bed rails because they were already scuffed up anyways from having that topper on there. So once I get those recoated, then I will take and be able to get my tonneau cover, and that'll get mounted to those rails and stuff too. So again, even if I didn't cover it, it's still gonna be covered by the rails for the tonneau cover. So couldn't find a tri-section one for this model. If you guys can find one, just drop it in the comment section, the link for it. If you can find a tri-fold, like a hard plastic, I think they're made from like ABS plastic, but it'd be a tri-fold, so it'd be like the 3 big sections and they fold up basically. And it's kind of like a hard top. Some of them are lockable, some of them aren't. It doesn't really matter. But I couldn't find one. The only thing I could find was vinyl, like a rollback, which sucks because I don't really want that. I don't like them. They leak a lot. I don't like it. I'll repeat that again. I don't like them. So if you guys can find a tri-fold one, if you guys just happen to be surfing around or something and checking stuff out, and you come across one, it's for a 1996 Dodge Dakota extended cab. And it is not the Sport, it is just the Dodge Dakota. So 1996 Dodge Dakota extended cab. So if you find one, let me know. Shoot it in the comment section or hit me in the email. LoonyMaxx, same as what my name is on YouTube here. So yeah, just do that. Anyways, I gotta let this thing dry. I'm gonna start peeling tape off, stuff like that. So I'm gonna get back at it. Hey, what up everybody? So I took the tape off. I did some cleaning around the edges. I did get that stuff off of there. So if you can see, the bed rails are clean now. There is no leftover residue that's up there anymore. A little bit of brake clean takes care of that. So brake clean in a rag, everybody, works great. I'm not worried about the bumper. I did get some stuff on the bumper as far as like that rusty metal primer stuff. Again, I'm not worried about that. I do have some overspray over here still that I got to get off. I just noticed that, so I'll have to do that later. But again, I'm out of brake clean, so I'll have to get some more. But yeah, it is set up. It is, well, not set up, but it's done. And it's gonna, I just have to give it time to set up. Right now it smells in here horribly. I don't have the mask on, I shut everything down. I'm actually getting ready to take off just so I can let this do its thing. I won't be back out here till later. So I'll probably next week here sometime. I'm still waiting on stuff to show up in the mail anyways, like RCA extensions, things like that. So I did, speaking of extensions, I did get some stuff in. So I got 2 of them. These are for the driver's side to extend, to make the splits for the 2 amps on that side. These are 3-foot extensions again, and these will be for the, let me get that one out of there, if I can get that there. Yeah, so these are a 3-foot extension. These ones are a little bit more premium, but I didn't need a 3-foot extension for the other side, and I couldn't find these in a smaller type of like Y splitter. So these are gonna end up being for the passenger side. I got 2 of them as well, and I got other extensions coming. These Y splitters are just for the driver's side because it doesn't need to go very far. And then I got aqua blue TexFlex to run the speaker wires through from the amp that'll go into the box from this side. So that side underneath to this side, unless he can flip the amp, it's gonna have to be speaker out on that side and then run all the way across the front of that little landing, and then over and down. So I got 25 feet of that TexFlex. So hopefully that's enough. I'm hoping that's enough. We will see, we'll find out if it's enough. It should be more than enough, but I still have to get the other speaker wire in from Sky High, the red and blue OFC. My cousin had to reorder that stuff because I gave my stuff to him. So we'll see. I have to make sure that I get enough of it. So if he hasn't already ordered it, I'm gonna have to tell him to just, hey, you know, get like 15 feet or whatever, 25 feet of it. So probably 15 feet. I don't need 25, but probably 15 feet of it just to make sure I get there. So yeah, that's done. I'm gonna throw my coat on and I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.